I'm Hemant Mehta.
And I'm Jessica Blumke.
And you're listening to the podcast for FriendlyAtheist.com. We're brought today by Be Secular.
Be free to love. Be able to choose. Be accepted no matter your race, gender, sexual orientation, or belief system. Be secular.
Be Secular merchandise allows you to display your support for equality and the separation of church and state, while also donating up to 50% of the profit from your purchase to nonprofits, groups, and artists that support those same values.
Go to www.besecular.com. Pick your item, and then choose who you want to get the donation from your sale. Listeners of this podcast will get a 10% discount if they use the promo code FRIENDLY.
Make a statement. Be you, be secular. Our guest tonight is a college football player from one of the top Division I programs in the country. He's not just a guy on the bench, he himself is one of the top players in the country for his position. I follow college football loosely, and this guy's on a team whose coach I've heard of, so trust me, this isn't a second-rate school. At his request, we're maintaining his anonymity because he deserves to be recognized for his talent and not his atheism, and we don't want to ruin that for him. Rest assured, though, I know his name. I verified he is who he says he is, and we wanted to talk about faith, football, and his future. So for the sake of the interview, we're going to call him Patrick. So Patrick, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
So tell us about how you got involved in football, because the premise here is you're a college football player and you happen to be an atheist. How did you become, which one came first? Did you start thinking about religion at a young age? Did you always know you wanted to be a football player?
Well, honestly, I just played sports growing up, but, really my whole life. I just started playing high school, and I guess that led into college. But as far as, my beliefs and everything, I grew up in a really small Lutheran private school, and I really didn't start thinking about it much until 8th grade. A lot of stuff was going on. They started trying to talk about some other stuff in my school, and I really started to think about it. But in high school, I really kind of challenged a lot of the ideas that were taught, and kind of really just led to it through that.
So what would happen? Obviously, we're keeping you anonymous. What do you fear would happen if people found out you're an atheist?
Well, I'm not really sure, honestly. I don't think there's too many football players that have been, called come out of the closet as atheists. But, I think it's a very, I will say I go to the school that I am attending is very southern and conservative. So I guess, a lot of people in the area, a lot of people at the school are very religious. And, I feel like I've maintained a good image, in the community and here. And I feel like, I'm sure you guys know, people, especially when they just hear the word atheist, have a very negative feel about it. And I just, it's different when, Christian athletes kind of come out and, they're open about it. But, everybody seems to, it doesn't really matter. But, if you were to come out as an atheist, I'm not really sure what would happen. I feel like there'd be a lot of uprising.
Do you think your teammates would react, they would treat you differently if they found out that you didn't believe in God?
No, actually, a lot of my teammates do know. We have team chapels, and, to the people I'm close with on the team, they know. I don't go to chapel. I'm not, they know I'm not religious, and it's not really with them. It's more with just the public, and, media and things like that. But, I don't think everybody on the team treats me the same. I think we all have, the common goal. So, I think that's good.
I hope this is a fair question, but I'm sure you saw everything that happened with Michael Sam at the end of his college football career and getting drafted in the NFL. Do you feel that there would be, his teammates totally supported him when he came out as gay, but obviously the media seemed to care way more about that than his athletic abilities. Do you worry that if you came out as atheist, your teammates would have your back, but everyone would try to make that a focal point of everything you did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I don't think it'd be on the the national level that it was with Michael Sam, but more the local media where I am. I feel like I can't tweet about that stuff or anything. I just feel, there's a chance I could say something and it might not actually come up at all. But I don't think
it's not a risk
really
you want to
take.
take.
I don't want to take that risk right now. I just, I've been around the South a lot. I grew up in a very southern area, so I know how people react to these types of things. I mean,
Sure.
there are some people who are batshit crazy about it. So,
Well, one of the questions I have is football. I've been writing so much lately about high school football coaches who want to pray with their team, and that's totally illegal. It's fine if the students want to do it on their own, but the coaches at public schools, coaches love to get involved. And I wonder, I never hear about that really with like a baseball team. I never hear about that on a basketball team. I'm sure it happens, but it's something very special to football, unique to football. Why is that? Do you have any idea why faith and football seems so intertwined?
To be honest, I have no clue. I grew up in a really, I was like at a religious school, like I said before, and so all the sports teams, there was an open prayer before every game, no matter what the sport was, and I've actually often wondered that. I really couldn't give you a straight answer. I really have no idea. I feel like maybe it has something to do with. I really have no idea.
I think if I had to wager a guess, I would think that it has something to do with like college football's popularity in the South.
I was about to say that too.
Yeah.
I think especially football being as big as it is in the South, and especially the area where I grew up. I think it is. I think it's very, very common down there, and it's big. So
you said you have a team chapel that is voluntary. Do you also have a chaplain? Because I know a lot of
we do have a chaplain in the.
That's pretty common, right? Like with a lot of football teams.
Well, I'm not even sure if it's very common on college football programs. I really don't know.
I know the NFL has them for like every team.
Wait, really?
Yeah, the NFL has chaplains for every team.
I mean, I actually, when I came on my visit to the school I'm at now, I was actually really surprised by the fact that they had one, because they had always said it's not mandatory to go to, which I knew that, but
they made that clear to you.
I was still surprised. It's not necessarily mandatory. I mean, everybody goes except for me, but they definitely don't. The coaches don't make a point about it or anything. They don't.
They're strictly professional about what they're doing.
Yeah, and I'm really actually happy about that.
Yeah,
that it's professional. Because in high school, I had to go to chapel every Wednesday. I had to go to all that shit, and I hated it. But
and that's because you went to a Lutheran high school.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm thankful for that, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I just don't really attend any of that stuff.
Are you? Do you know if you're the only student who doesn't attend the chapels?
I know there are people, just players missing, just sometimes not really due to that reason.
Yeah, they might have some other obligations.
Because it's technically not required. So, I know people can get 30 minutes extra sleep or something.
Right.
If they're really tired or something like that. But there's nobody who
purposely misses it.
Completely, purposely misses it, like for the same reason that I have, I guess.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, aside from the chapel, I assume there's a lot of praying, like in the locker room. I've seen Rudy. I know it happens. Like, how do you feel about that? Do you participate? Do you stand quietly? Do you
do you feel left
and
out?
Say you're the worst?
Yeah. Do you feel left out if you don't participate?
Yeah. I've been asked that before by, I think, another person on the same topic, but no, I really don't feel left out. I don't want to be a part of it. I really have no desire to be a part of it. But before the games and after the games, there's we do the Lord's Prayer in the locker room before the games, and I just kind of sit there. And after the game, there's a team prayer in the middle of the field for the people who want to join, which is pretty much everybody. Mm-hmm. I just kind of walk around and pretend like I don't know what's going on.
I can't say I would do anything differently. That's probably what I would do if I were in the same position.
Yeah, I mean, I just walk around, kind of, with the good wind, walking around with, doing whatever it is.
It's one thing when these things happen before or after the game. I wonder if you've ever been in a position where maybe it was a really close game and you guys were trying to figure out, like, you only had one play at the end of the game or something.
Hemet knows a lot about football.
I know
as you can
so
tell.
much about all of these sporting events. But, if there's a huddle or something, maybe, is there a prayer that goes on in the middle of the game that you have to, that I don't know what you do in that situation. Does that happen? Or are people, even the players, are they strictly like, let's talk football during the game?
And that's a good question. I don't think necessarily there's team prayers in the middle of the game. I think, whoever, if some big plays happen, there might be people praying to themselves or something.
Yeah.
But not really during the game, no. Our chaplain is too. I mean, that happens a lot. Like right before the games, people can go and do just like a short little individual prayer with their chaplain. But nothing really during the game. Everybody's pretty, as a team, focused on football during the game.
Okay.
Yeah. Patrick, I would love to talk a little bit about what you see your future is. Obviously, I don't know a lot about you at all, but hypothetically, if you were aiming to play in the pros, like, is this something you're going to feel that you have to keep under wraps, or is it more a consequence of, I live in the South, it sounds like, and it's a community thing?
Yeah, well, my plans are, for my whole, ever since I've, went to college and everything, I've always wanted to get my degree first, so that's always my, my first plan.
Mm-hmm.
So, if football doesn't work out, I always have something to, lean back on, or, I'm really not even lean back on. I mean, it's not like I don't want to have a career of my own, everything, but,
even if you play professional football, it's not going to last forever.
Right.
Well, yeah, and that, even if I don't make it to the, professional level, I still have a job where, I'm happy, something I want to do, not just, it's not like the NFL is my only option. But it's definitely, that's my goal. And I guess in the last 2 years, I've had a lot of, I've been doing pretty well. So when I first came in as a freshman, I didn't think there was much chance of it, but I feel like, I'm starting to get to the point where I think, that might be more of a reality than I've expected.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's definitely my number one goal at this point. And I don't really know where I would be with publicly announcing that in the NFL either.
Sure.
Yeah, I really have no idea. I haven't thought about that much.
His name is escaping me. What's the name of the punter from the Vikings?
Chris Kluwe.
Chris Kluwe. Have you been following his?
I'll follow him.
Do you have any thoughts about that?
Because he's very vocal about his beliefs when it comes to marriage equality, when it comes to how they treat gay players. He's openly agnostic.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I thought he was
actually
cheerfully agnostic or something.
Right when you asked that, he popped into my mind right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember, seeing interviews with him talking about all that stuff, and when he's cut now for whatever reason, but it seemed like he was having pretty good season until started making those comments, and then they kind of dropped him. So,
do you think his comments were the reason, not because of his play, but because of things he did off the field, that was maybe a factor in why he might have gotten cut?
I really don't. I'm not sure. I can definitely see that happening. I don't think that would be out of the question. I think especially with the franchise, as big as NFL team, I think it's the same thing with Michael Sam. Do teams want to have all that media attention around him? Do they want to do it? And coming from a punter, who's I guess not necessarily as big of a trademark player, I guess.
Right, it's not the same as like a quarterback doing it.
Yeah, do they want to deal with all that? Do they want to do that? And certainly I can see a team dropping a punter because of that.
Sure.
But I'm not sure if that was the case or anything.
I listened to an interview that he did on the Nerdist, I think it was.
Which is where we go to all of our sports news.
Yeah, absolutely. Nerdist and Friendly Atheist.
Yep.
That's where everybody comes for sports. But anyway, he talked in depth about it, and it seems like I don't think he's accusing anybody of anything, but he certainly feels
it's a
strongly.
Factor.
Like, I think there was some homophobic talk in the locker room that he kind of stood up against, and he thinks that may have
bad for team morale is probably what they would
I'm sure.
say.
But
Let me broaden the scope here for a second. We talked about prayers before and after game, but athletes tend to be superstitious in general. So I wonder if there are rituals your teammates do before a game that are not necessarily Christian, that are not necessarily religious, but do you participate in any of those rituals? Like, do you wear the same socks before a game? Does that matter?
Absolutely not. I'm not going to name anybody, but there's one person on our team who very, very, very superstitious. I'm talking about he had gum stuck to his cleat one game and has not removed the gum.
oh, gross.
And I mean, I'm talking, it's dead serious. I'm very, I have a really strong, obviously, that doesn't make a difference. But, I have a routine that I do, but nothing, superstitious where it's,
if your routine,
I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna, do whatever.
If your routine was screwed up before a game, would that affect your mindset going into a game?
I think from a psychological aspect, anytime I can see how as comfortable, but when I'm talking about, I have to define routine kind of. I'm talking about doing the same thing, every time you do something in a game, as opposed to wearing the same pair of underwear. I don't care about that.
So you do the laundry between games.
Yeah, I mean, there's. I don't know how to explain it. I guess every time I perform, I try to do the exact same thing,
Sure.
as opposed to, which is if I messed up something in that, it could affect it.
Yeah.
But definitely not from like a I don't even know going out on the field and touching the grass, kissing my cleats, like I don't even know, something like that.
Right.
But wearing the same pair of socks, nothing like that. I think that's ridiculous.
Do you ever say that to your teammates? Because it's one thing to just stand outside of a prayer circle or something, but do you tell your teammate, like, dude, that gum on your cleats isn't changing the ball game at all?
Oh no, well, even the people that are superstitious, we all, it's joking. We all, give each other, shit about it.
Yeah.
I tell them all the time, I'm like, whatever your name is, do you really think that's going to have any effect on the outside world, what you're thinking in your head? And he just, he just tells me to shut up and laugh about it. But,
so you joke about it, but it's not that big of a deal.
I joke with my, my closer friends on the team, when they pray, I'll, kiddingly joke, do you really think, saying that in your head is actually going to have any effect on the outer world? And, I have fun with it. And, they don't.
I'm really curious.
Friends, I can say that too. But.
I'm really curious if your teammates, if you ever lose a game, do your teammates ever are they ever saying to you, it's because you didn't pray?
It's because of the devil.
The
devil and Patrick.
Nobody can pretend that. I don't think anybody would take it to that level.
Oh, good.
Nobody's harsh like that. But
that's good to know.
I always think it's funny when the prayers are so, in my mind, dumb. I mean, it's, hey, please keep everybody safe, and then someone has a tears of ACL during the game. I mean, what?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's just, and both teams are praying to play their best to win, and obviously that doesn't happen. It's just
right. Someone's going to lose. God's not on one of the team's sides.
That's probably the funniest thing about it. That's just ridiculous to me, but.
Do you feel comfortable talking about faith and religion with all of your team, or is it just with the people who you're close to? Like, is it a conversation you all have together?
Do what?
Is it a conversation you feel like you can always have together, or is it just reserved for your kind of inner circle?
I wouldn't have it with anybody on the team just because, I don't have normal conversations with anybody on the team. I would feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I would feel comfortable doing it, but I talk to my closer friends about it more. In that perspective, yeah.
Can I ask you? You said you went to a religious high school and you started thinking about atheism around, you said, 8th grade.
Yeah.
Around that time, what was it that really changed your mind about that fact? Was it a friend of yours? Was it a book you read?
No, I'll kind of give you the little story.
Yeah.
Not a story, but just kind of a little in time preview, I guess. So, like in 8th grade, I guess, we had a religion class, and in 8th grade, they made this poor attempt to try to growing up, I had no idea, as a kid being raised by, through Christianity, through the school. I mean, you don't know that there's anything else. You just think everybody in the whole world's Christian.
Yeah, you're living in a bubble.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I literally had no idea that there was any other belief system. I thought everything was Christian. And our 8th grade year, we kind of one of our Bible classes was looking at, they talked at they said the word secular, and they literally made it sound like these, I don't even remember, but it just this terrible, awful, disease-stricken thing. And
we're like a level below Ebola.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Lepers.
And we had this debate where we were on teams, and we were supposed to defend the question: is the Bible the inerrant Word of God? Is it 100% true?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And for what and everybody in the class, it's funny because everybody in the class wanted to be on the team, because everybody wants to be on one side of the debate, whatever's easiest to defend, and everybody wanted to be on the side that was no, it's not the inerrant Word of God because it's easier to prove that it's not, right?
Right.
And I remember wanting to do that, and I was looking at it, and I was like, I actually ended up being on the trying to prove that it was the inerrant Word of God. And we were sitting there doing all this stuff, and I started to realize, I'm like, if we're having a debate and it's 10 times easier to defend one side, what does that mean?
The side that says the Bible isn't 100% true.
And just the fact that it's easier, that everybody wants one side to defend is, almost evidence in itself. But so I started kind of questioning some things. I got to 9th grade, and I'm sure you guys will cringe at this, but 9th grade, my biology teacher, of course, had to mention evolution and literally said, okay, well, here's the theory of evolution, but it's 100% false.
Oh, yeah. There's
and obviously young Earth creationist. And he was, and I mean, this pisses me off talking about it, but saying that there's absolutely no evidence for evolution. There's not one fossil of evolution, that there's no way to actually date the age of the Earth. And so I knew from my knowledge that, well, that's weird because 98% or 99% of scientists in the real world think that, accept evolution. And accept, the Earth is like 4.54 billion years old. And I just started I pulled up the internet in 5 minutes, found a shit ton of fossils, a shit ton of evidence, and all this shit. And I'm sitting here thinking what is this? What's going on?
I can't tell if that would make you the best student or the worst student if I were in that position, but that's kind of awesome.
I mean, I'm sitting there just thinking, this is obviously not true. And so, I mean, really from that biology class on all the way out through high school, I mean, I kind of, I was still a Christian by then, but I really started to question a lot of things, did a lot of, I would read books, I'd look at online debates between people. And I think going into my senior year, I kind of branched farther away from it, but I started, my junior summer, I really made it a big goal of mine to figure out what I was, because I was like, I'm not Christian, but I have no idea what I believe.
Yeah.
I picked up Richard Dawkins' God Delusion, read that in about 3 days.
Tales of his time.
I thought that was probably the best book I've ever read. And I did a lot of research, a lot of looking, and I was like, well, I guess I'm officially an atheist. But I guess that's how I kind of came to that. A funny story is Christopher Hitchens, who I'm sure you guys know,
yes,
actually did a debate at the big church next to me when I was in 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
And I because my school was right across from this, I was raised in Texas, from this mega church.
Yeah.
And he was there, and at the time I had no idea who it was, but I was in 8th grade, and our whole high school went to view it.
Oh, wow.
And and I found that out later when I realized who Christopher Hitchens was, and I was really pissed off. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? I missed this debate between he was like one of my idols, and senior year I was like looking up to him and everything, and I realized he was right across the street. And
right, you could have seen him. Yeah, I wonder how many. I wonder if that was a high school field trip that totally backfired.
That's what I was laughing about. I was like, it's okay, guys, we're gonna go see an evolutionist, right? Which, Those debate.
It's very weird.
Know,
to go back to your old story about your biology class, I was going to say it's very weird anytime a high school biology teacher says, blah, 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 the theory of evolution is there, but, like, that's never a good sign as soon as they pivot from that.
One questions why they have science classes.
Yeah.
If they're
How'd
like,
you get this job?
science.
oh, my God, I know. And, looking back on that, I just think it's just, I can't even begin to wonder why. I don't even know. I don't understand how you think like that, being a science teacher. But
yeah.
Does your family know your beliefs?
Yeah, they do. My mom and stepdad are pretty religious.
Uh-huh.
My stepdad goes. I think he's really high up in the church that we would attend growing up, and they weren't so happy when I told them. I mean, they weren't disowning me, but they were like, we're disappointed in you, whatever. But my dad is very, he's more of an agnostic. He's, kind of always taught me to question everything. And, we have some pretty good, I talked with him a lot about it. But, and a huge thing for me, too, going through my whole, transition through, from Christianity to atheism is, like, to be honest, it's, like, my dad is, like, probably one of the best people I know, genuinely. And, being young and thinking that he was going to go to hell because he didn't accept Christianity was like a huge game changer for me, because he's, in my life, he's always just been someone who's, never done the wrong thing, always wanted the best for people no matter what. And, for people to sit here and, hearing from my teachers, well, he's going to hell and shit. I mean, I was, all right.
Yeah. But you guys have a pretty good relationship now still?
Yeah, I mean, me and my dad have probably a lot stronger relationship with each other than me and my mom. Me and my mom are still, we have a good relationship, but it's a little...
You're still butting heads over the religion thing a little bit.
Not even that. I mean, we have a lot of other problems, but...
Fair enough.
Definitely that. They don't... they think I'm just going... I'm sure that's probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard. They think I'm going through a phase.
We've all heard it, my friend.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Your college liberal phase where you just want to,
I'm 31. My parents still think I'm going through a phase. It's all right.
Oh, my God. It's ridiculous.
Let me ask you one last question. Jessica won't believe me. I really do follow sports.
Bullshit.
No, I swear. That's all that's on TV when I'm at home. But I do have a question. What don't I know? From watching college football on television or something, and you actually being on a team, is there anything that you do on a weekly basis that might surprise me? Because, I don't see the in and outs of practices. I don't know what goes on unless it's on the field on game day or something. What do you think would surprise an outsider about being part of a serious football program?
Just in general?
Yeah, just in general.
I think everybody has, an idea that college athletes work, hard. But I do not think anybody understands, because, there's all these debates now with should athletes get paid and, all that stuff.
Yeah,
and,
all the unionizing and everything.
Yeah, and, I think a lot of people don't realize what happens with college athletes is, and my parents do just fine, so I have, they can always, give me money when I need it for food and stuff. But
yeah,
to be honest, so college football takes away your ability to get a job. It's actually against the rules to get a job associated with the school. But there's
after
no time for a job.
Graduate, even
after you graduate, you can. But I'm just talking about in college. So, you have these people who, some of these players that come in from really, poor families who really, they don't have any money. They can't just say, "Hey, Mom, can you put $100 in my account for food this week?" Right? They have literally no income at all.
And we see stories.
So
stories on like ESPN of athletes who get in trouble because they sold autographs for like $10, and it's because they need food.
Start on that. Yeah, and the thing is, you take a 340-pound O lineman and you give him 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
Right. That I eat 5 and 6 meals a day,
and you're a smaller guy or something.
I mean, and just the stuff that we go through. I mean, that's not enough for a kid that weighs that much. there's not enough really for any college student with an appetite and a metabolism like a college football player. But, we wake up at 5:30 to go to 6 a.m. workout, class from 8:30 to 12, tutoring from 1 to 3, meetings and practice till 6:30 at night. Then if you didn't have study hall before, you have study hall after that till 8 to 9 at night.
Is that all year round, or like when is the football season for you guys?
That's in season, but during the off season, there's you have workouts every morning at 6 a.m. in class and stuff. But you also there's the involuntary or the voluntary stuff where you have to. I mean, you have to keep practicing your craft and whatever you do. For receivers, you got to do footwork and stuff. Outside of that, you got to do a bunch of stuff in the off season too. Mm-hmm. And then you get into spring football, which is just like I just explained during season.
You're still conditioning and doing strength work outside of the regular season.
That's brutal in the off season.
Yeah.
And then we have I think like 7 weeks off for summer, and then we're back. We get May off basically, and then we're back at it June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I was really curious with the players who are really big guys on the team who may not be able to pay for the food that they need to keep them sustained and everything. Mm-hmm. How do they get by?
I mean, and that's the thing. There's, I'm not going to be naive or lie to you guys and say that, there's not.
They find workarounds, basically.
But people get food however they can. I mean,
right.
330-pound huge lineman is not going to not eat.
Right. They'll find ways.
And it's just so set up though that if the NCAA finds out about any little thing, like, say your position coach goes and this actually happened, goes and buys you a few tacos because you're hungry at 10 o'clock at night because you haven't eaten since 6 right after practice. If he goes and buys you a taco from Taco Bell, you are disqualified from the NCAA you can never get back in. You're done.
They're very strict about all of that stuff.
Jesus.
That's crazy.
And going back to the thing with autographs, which makes me cringe because it's my autograph. The NCAA did not give me my autograph, and I can't sell my own autograph for money. That it makes absolutely no sense. And if you do, if I give an autograph to someone and then they go turn around and sell that autograph, I'm disqualified from the NCAA in football for the rest of the life.
Wow. So do college players not even give autographs for the most part because they don't know what's going to happen after it's out of their hands?
They tell us not to, but you got a 7-year-old kid that has your jersey on outside the stadium. You're not going to not give autographs. I mean, we do sign autographs, and it's just that's the sad part about it is,
you can't say no to a kid who wants your autograph.
Yeah, I mean, who in the right mind is going to say no to a kid? I mean, you're not going to. So, I don't deny anybody of an autograph. Some kid's making his way with a Sharpie trying to find me for the whole game. And he finds me, I'm going to give him his autograph. It's going to make his day.
Right, and you just hope he doesn't... you hope he doesn't turn around and come back to bite you.
Right.
I mean, it's just ridiculous that I even have to worry about that or worry about anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, hey, Patrick, thank you so much for your time.
Wait, really quick.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you're busy, but if you can make it up to Chicago this weekend, I'm on a flag football team and we're short a guy. So,
we got a game this weekend.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's like college football season's like happening as we speak, which you would know
if
you followed sport. If you followed sport.
Big game and
thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule right now to talk to us.
Yeah, no problem.
Best of luck with the rest of the season, and thank you again.
Yeah, it's great talking to you, Patrick.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the podcast for FriendlyAtheist.com. This episode was taped at Cinnamon Sound Studios in Aurora, Illinois, and the music was written and performed by Brad Chagdis. If you like what you're hearing, please consider making a contribution at patreon.com/Hemant, that's He-Man-T. We appreciate your support. I'm Hemant Mehta.
And I'm Jessica Blumke. We hope you'll join us next time.